What kind of world forces life to fight for every single breath, where even silence can kill, and hesitation is the difference between existence and extinction? There is a place on Earth where survival is not a right, but a constant battle. A place where cold is not just a season, but a ruler. Invisible, relentless, and absolute. It shapes the land, bends the rules of life, and decides who endures and who disappears without a trace. This is Siberia, a land so vast it stretches beyond imagination, covering millions of square kilometers across northern Asia, reaching from the edges of Europe all the way to the Pacific Ocean. From above, it looks endless, a frozen expanse of forests, tundras, rivers locked in ice, and mountains carved by time itself. But beneath that stillness lies a world that never truly rests. Because here, everything is always fighting. Deep within the dense taiga forests of the Russian Far East, where shadows stretch endlessly between towering trees, something moves. Silent, calculated, watching. You won't hear it coming. The snow barely reacts to its presence. The wind carries no warning. And yet, in that moment, death is already near. The Siberian tiger. A creature that doesn't just survive this unforgiving world. It dominates it. Massive, powerful, and almost unreal in its presence, this predator is the largest feline to walk the earth. Its body can stretch over 3 meters in length, and its weight rivals that of multiple grown humans combined. But size alone is not what makes it terrifying. It's how perfectly it belongs here. Its thick fur grows dense enough to shield it from temperatures that would freeze most living beings within minutes. Beneath its coat, layers of fat act as insulation, turning its body into a fortress against the cold. And its striped pattern, more than just beauty, becomes invisibility itself. In a forest painted with shadows and snow, the tiger disappears. Every stripe is unique, like a fingerprint written by nature. A silent identity in a world where being seen can mean death. But for the tiger, being unseen means something else entirely. Opportunity. Because in Siberia, energy is everything. Every step through deep snow burns strength. Every failed hunt brings hunger closer, and hunger is unforgiving. So the tiger waits. It studies. It listens. A distant crack beneath the snow, a shift in the air, a heartbeat out of rhythm. And then it moves. Not fast, not rushed. Precise. Each step is measured, each movement calculated, until the moment arrives. And in an explosion of raw power, it strikes. Claws tear through silence. Muscles unleash force. Instinct takes over completely. And just like that, it's over. The forest absorbs the sound. The snow settles again, and Siberia returns to its quiet, as if nothing ever happened. But survival doesn't pause here. Because beyond the forests, further north where the land dissolves into endless ice, another ruler waits. A giant shaped not by trees and shadows, but by wind, ocean, and frozen horizons. The Arctic, a place where the sun can vanish for weeks, and darkness becomes a constant companion, where the cold doesn't just surround you, it enters you. And here lives a creature that turns this frozen desert into its kingdom, the polar bear, a predator so powerful it stands at the very top of the Arctic food chain. Males can weigh more than 800 kilograms, towering over most animals on Earth when they rise on their hind legs. But like the tiger, its true strength lies not only in size, but in adaptation. Its fur appears white, blending seamlessly with snow and ice. But in reality, each strand is transparent, designed to trap and reflect light. Beneath it, black skin absorbs heat from the faint Arctic sun, maximizing every bit of warmth in a world that offers almost none. It is built for survival, in its purest form. But survival here comes at a cost. The polar bear is alone. It walks vast distances across drifting ice, guided only by instinct and memory. It follows the scent of seals, its primary prey, across frozen oceans that shift and crack beneath its weight. Days can pass without success, and in those days, hunger grows. But the bear does not panic. It endures. Because in the Arctic, patience is not a choice. It is survival. Then comes the moment. A seal rests on the ice unaware. The ocean beneath remains still. The air is silent. Too silent. From below, something moves. Slowly, quietly. The bear enters the water without a sound, its massive body cutting through the freezing ocean like it belongs there. As if the cold itself accepts it. It swims. Minutes pass, then more. And suddenly, it erupts from the water. Explosive, violent, immediate. There is no warning, no second chance, only instinct. And once again, silence returns. But beneath that silence lies a truth that defines this world. Only those who act first survive. And yet, even in this brutal land, life finds ways not just to survive, but to adapt in ways that almost feel impossible. Because deeper within the Arctic waters, beneath layers of ice and darkness, something else moves. Something ancient, something mysterious, a creature that has turned the unknown into its home. And in the next part, we dive beneath the frozen surface, into a world where even breathing becomes a challenge, and survival depends on reading the ice itself. What kind of creature dares to live where even light struggles to survive, where the ocean itself can become a prison of ice, sealing fate in absolute darkness? Beneath the frozen skin of the Arctic, far below the shifting plates of ice, a different world exists. Silent, pressurized, unforgiving in ways the surface could never be. Here, the cold is deeper, heavier, and far more dangerous. And yet, something moves through it with calm precision. The narwhal. At first glance, it feels almost mythical. A pale body drifting through black water, crowned with a long spiral tusk that can grow over 3 meters in length. For centuries, humans believed it was the horn of a unicorn, a relic of fantasy pulled from the depths of the sea. Kings and merchants traded it as treasure, convinced it held magical powers. But reality is far more extraordinary. That tusk is not a weapon. It is a sensor, a living instrument capable of detecting the smallest changes in its environment, temperature shifts, salinity variations, even the subtle movements of prey hidden far below. In a world where visibility is almost zero, the narwhal feels its way through existence. It dives deeper than almost any other marine mammal, descending over 1,500 meters into darkness so complete that even the concept of light disappears. Down there, pressure crushes, cold paralyzes, and yet it continues. But every dive comes with a risk, because above it, the ice moves. The Arctic is never still. Sheets of ice drift, collide, and close the very openings the narwhal depends on to breathe. A single miscalculation, a delayed ascent, and the path to the surface can vanish completely. No air, no escape, only a slow, silent end. So it calculates. Every movement, every dive, every return to the surface is a decision between life and death. And still, it persists. Year after year, generation after generation, this creature remains in one of the harshest environments on Earth. A reminder that survival is not always about strength. Sometimes it's about understanding the invisible. But not all survival stories in Siberia belong to animals. Because on land, where the wind slices across endless tundra and the ground remains frozen even in summer, humans have also learned to endure the impossible. Far to the northwest, across the frozen stretches of the Yamal Peninsula, a journey begins. Not once, not occasionally, but every year, the Nenets people, one of the last truly nomadic cultures on Earth, moving across Siberia in a rhythm that has existed for centuries. Their lives are not tied to cities, roads, or modern convenience. Instead, they follow something far older: their reindeer. Thousands of them. An entire living migration that stretches across hundreds of kilometers. When winter begins to loosen its grip, the Nenets guide their herds northward, chasing the brief renewal of the tundra where moss and lichen emerge from beneath the melting snow. And when the cold returns, they move again, south, always moving, always adapting. Because standing still here is not an option. Their homes are temporary, tents built to be dismantled within hours. Their transportation is simple yet effective. Sleds pulled across frozen land by the very animals they depend on. And their survival depends on understanding the land better than anyone else. Weeks pass during these migrations. Endless white landscapes stretch in every direction. Winds cut through layers of clothing. Rivers freeze solid, then crack without warning. Temperatures drop to levels that would cripple most unprepared travelers. But the Nenets continue. They do not fight the land. They move with it. For them, this is not hardship. It is life. A life built on balance between human, animal, and environment. A system that has worked for generations. But now, something is changing. The ice melts earlier. The routes shift. And in the distance, pipelines and roads begin to cut across ancient paths, breaking the rhythm that has existed for centuries. For the first time, survival here is not just about enduring nature, but adapting to a world that is changing faster than tradition can follow. And yet, they continue, because stopping has never been part of their story. But as we move deeper into Siberia, into its frozen core, another reality begins to reveal itself. One that pushes survival beyond tradition, beyond adaptation, into something almost unimaginable. A place where the cold does not come and go. It stays. Permanent. Absolute. In the Republic of Yakutsk, winter is not a season. It is a constant presence. The ground itself remains frozen year-round, locked in a state known as permafrost. A layer of earth so cold, so solid, that it never fully thaws. Even in summer, cities here are built differently, not by choice, but by necessity. In Yakutsk, the coldest city on Earth, buildings stand elevated above the ground to prevent heat from melting the frozen soil beneath them. Pipes that carry water and sewage cannot be buried. They run above ground, exposed to the elements, wrapped in insulation like lifelines against the cold. Every structure is a compromise with nature. And still, the cold finds its way in. The air itself feels different here, denser, sharper, almost visible in its intensity. Breathing becomes an effort. Each inhale carries a bite that reaches deep into the lungs. And yet, people live here. Not just survive, thrive. But even Yakutsk is not the limit. Further east lies a place that pushes the boundaries of human endurance even further. On Yakutsk, a village where temperatures have dropped to nearly minus 67 degrees Celsius, one of the coldest inhabited places on the planet, in some records even lower. Here, the cold doesn't just challenge life, it controls it. Cars must remain running for hours, sometimes days, because turning off the engine can mean it will never start again. Fuel thickens, metal becomes dangerous to touch. Skin can freeze within seconds of exposure. Even simple mistakes have consequences. And yet, life continues. Children walk to school through frozen air that stings like needles. Daily routines persist under conditions that seem almost unreal. Schools only close when temperatures drop below levels that most people could never even imagine enduring. Everything slows down here. Movements become careful. Speech becomes measured. Even time itself feels different, stretched between moments of survival. But Siberia is never just one thing. Because not far from these frozen extremes, another place exists where the rules change again, dramatically. And in the next part, we step into a land where temperatures swing from unbearable cold to unexpected heat, where survival means constantly relearning how to exist. What happens when a place can freeze you solid in winter and then burn you under an unforgiving sun just months later? In Siberia, even survival has contradictions. Further north and east, beyond the frozen stillness of villages like Oymyakin, lies a place where nature refuses to stay predictable. A place where the rules shift so violently that even those who live there must constantly relearn how to exist. Verkhoyansk. In winter, it becomes a prison of ice. Temperatures drop so low that the air itself feels like a blade against the skin. Breathing becomes painful. Exposure, even for a few minutes, can leave permanent damage. But then, summer arrives, and everything changes. The same land that once froze everything into silence suddenly awakens. The snow melts, rivers begin to flow again, and temperatures rise, not gently, but with force. In some cases, exceeding 30 degrees Celsius, from -50 to +30, one of the most extreme temperature shifts on Earth. The human body struggles to keep up. In winter, it braces against freezing winds, layered in protection just to step outside. In summer, that same body feels heavy, slowed down by unexpected heat, unprepared for a world that no longer bites, but suffocates. Here, survival is not just endurance. It is constant adaptation. Every season demands a new way of living, a new rhythm, a new understanding of limits. But long before modern settlements, before roads and machines attempted to tame this land, there were those who had already learned its secrets. The Chukchi, an indigenous people of eastern Siberia who lived in complete isolation for generations. No engines, no infrastructure, no safety net, just endless tundra, violent winters, and a simple truth. If you stop moving, you die. To survive, they needed more than strength. They needed partners. And so, over centuries, they shaped one of the most resilient animals ever to exist in these conditions. The Siberian Husky. Not a pet, not a luxury, a necessity. Every trait these dogs carry today was forged through survival. Only the strongest were allowed to continue. Only those capable of enduring long journeys with minimal food, resisting extreme cold, and working together as a unit were kept. The rest didn't make it. What remained was perfection. Lean bodies built for endurance, thick fur to shield against freezing winds, and an instinctive understanding of teamwork that made them more than just animals. They became lifelines. Across frozen plains, through storms that erased visibility, these dogs pulled sleds carrying food, tools, and even children. Miles upon miles, without complaint, without hesitation. Each team moved as one. Leaders at the front, guiding direction. Stronger dogs behind, providing power. Every step synchronized, every movement efficient. Because here, there is no room for chaos. Over time, the relationship between the Chukchi and these dogs evolved into something deeper. Trust replaced necessity. Companionship grew from survival. And today, even though Siberian Huskies can be found across the world, far from snow and ice, something within them remains unchanged. A memory. A purpose. Because they were never meant for comfort. They were built for extremes. But Siberia is not just endless ice and frozen plains. Hidden within its vast territory are places that feel almost untouched by time, where nature exists in a raw, undisturbed state. To the south, far from the Arctic winds, rises a different landscape. The Altai Mountains, a region where ancient glaciers once carved the land, leaving behind deep valleys, sharp peaks, and rivers that still trace the memory of ice. Snow caps the highest summits, even as lower lands reveal forests and open steppes. It is quieter here, but no less wild. Deep within this region lies a place so remote it feels disconnected from the modern world entirely. The Chulishman Valley. Reaching it is not simple. There are no easy roads, no smooth paths guiding the way. Only rough terrain that demands skill, patience, and determination. Narrow mountain passes twist along steep cliffs, where one mistake can mean disaster. But those who make the journey understand something rare. Silence. Not the absence of sound, but a deeper stillness, a presence. The river flows far below, cutting through the valley like a vein of life. Winds move across the mountains, carrying echoes of a world untouched by noise. There are no cities here, no crowds, just nature, existing as it always has. Animals move freely. Eagles circle high above, scanning the land with unmatched precision. Foxes cross open fields, leaving faint tracks in the earth, and hidden within the shadows, creatures few ever see continue their quiet existence. Among them, one stands out, not because of size, but because of attitude, the wolverine. Small compared to the giants of Siberia, yet feared in ways that defy logic. Roughly the size of a medium dog, it carries a presence far greater than its appearance suggests. Because it does not hesitate. It challenges animals larger than itself. Wolves, lynxes, even bears, not out of recklessness, but out of pure survival instinct. Its body is dense with muscle, its jaws powerful enough to crush bone, its paws wide, allowing it to move across snow with ease. But what truly sets it apart is its persistence. The wolverine does not rely on speed. It relies on endurance. It can travel over 40 kilometers in a single day, crossing frozen rivers, climbing trees, tearing into anything that might offer sustenance. It wastes nothing. It misses nothing. If food is scarce, it waits. If opportunity appears, it takes it without hesitation. There is no fear, no doubt, only action. It is a reminder that in Siberia, survival is not always about being the biggest or the strongest. Sometimes it's about refusing to give up. And as we look upward from these valleys, toward the open sky above the Altai, another hunter begins its watch. One that doesn't roam the ground, but dominates the air. And in the next part, we follow a predator that strikes from above, where precision and timing decide everything. Above the frozen silence of Siberia, where even the strongest winds feel controlled by something unseen, another kind of hunter begins its rule. One that does not walk, does not run, but dominates everything from a height humans rarely understand. Because in this world, survival is not limited to land or ice. It extends into the sky, high above the Altai Mountains and the endless taiga forests, where clouds move like slow shadows across frozen landscapes. A shape cuts through the air with absolute precision. The osprey. At first glance, it seems almost ordinary compared to the giants of Siberia. It is not the largest bird, nor the most visually intimidating, but in nature, power is not always about size. It is about control. And the osprey has mastered control over something far more dangerous than land or water. The moment of impact. Its wings are long and powerful, shaped perfectly for both gliding and sudden descent. When spread wide, they form a distinct silhouette against the sky, like a living symbol of focus and intent. Its eyes, sharp and unshaken, scan the waters below with surgical precision. Because beneath that frozen surface, life still moves. Fish drift through icy rivers, unaware that above them, something is watching without blinking. The osprey does not rush. It does not waste energy. It waits for the exact alignment of conditions. Wind, angle, distance. And then, everything changes. It folds its wings and drops. Not like a fall, but like a decision. The air splits around its body as it accelerates downward. In seconds, the calm sky turns into motion, and the still water below becomes a target locked in time. Impact! The water erupts. Ice-cold spray bursts into the air as talons pierce the surface with devastating accuracy. And just as quickly as it began, it ends. A successful strike means survival. A mistake means nothing. Because in Siberia, even the sky does not forgive errors. But survival here is not only written in nature's design, it is also written in history. In places where human ambition collided with one of the most hostile environments on Earth. Far from the peaceful valleys and frozen forests lies a road that stretches across a different kind of silence. A silence that remembers everything. Between Yakutsk and Magadan, cutting through the coldest inhabited region on Earth, there exists a road that should not logically exist. The Kalama Highway. But those who travel it rarely call it by its official name. They call it something else. The Road of Bones. At first, it sounds like legend, a dark story passed through generations, but the truth beneath it is heavier than myth. During the Soviet era, thousands of forced laborers were sent into this frozen wasteland to construct roads under conditions that defied survival itself. The ground was permanently frozen, too hard to dig, too cold to soften. Even burial became impossible. And so, history carved a brutal solution into the land.